back with the leaders, and Sierra just put his hand up for some reason. We'll have to find out what's going on there. But these three riders then, who have been away since around about the 48-kilometre point, we came over the top there of the Den Valera, and that was 2,407 metres above sea level. 183 kilometres have been covered, so they've been away for something like 140 kilometres. They're Rancon on the far side, riding for Amaya on his way through. Next to come through should be Veronk, and this will be Franco Vona. Vona came over the top of the mountain in fourth spot, descending very, very quickly indeed. These lovely smooth descents off this particular climb should in fact aid the peloton in sweeping down at a great rate of knots. There's some really good classy descenders, and of course what they'll be doing with the slipstreaming that goes on with the peloton, they may well be coming down that sniff quicker than the three leaders in front. But of course when you get to the bends like this, they're onto the brakes, and here Rondon, who has been chasing after Vona, you can just see him in the distance. Another man who pries himself off the front.
There's a real sort out in the peloton that's chasing. There aren't very many of them left, and all of them are the good ones.
Well, we'll hope the camera goes back to pick them up. Look at that. Touch of the old Armco here, and you could be flying down the other side, flap your wings and land at the bottom ahead of the peloton. But you'd be in an awful state when you splatter down there. There's some beautiful sweeping roads here, and it's nice and dry, thank goodness, because nothing worse than when the rain's falling. And there I can just see the peloton just up on the right-hand side of your screen. We briefly caught. There they are. Our helicopter thankfully being able to fly. See the motorcycles pull down the left-hand side. They don't get it on the racing line of the rider. They know exactly where they're going to sweep round, these motorbike riders going along, the commissaires and the press photographers who look at that. Now there's a fair old split in the bunch, because when we looked at the bottom of that climb, most of the people there and all the feedback we've been getting about some of the people dropping off has been confirmed now. But you can look at that one from the start this morning then, after we had, what, 3 people have retired from the race today. Those retirements being Van der Lau, who didn't start, Francis Moreau, who packed it in, and Ludwig. So we're down to something like 140 riders in all, and there certainly went the thing at 140 in that group.
Apparently they've dropped Jaskula out of the good bunch, so there's going to be some changes in the general soon. Yeah,
I think he'll get back actually, Brian, in the descent. In fact, he's not a good descender. Every time we've seen him so far, he's been coming down, leaving quite a big gap behind him. So when Vona went and kept looking over his shoulder, the reason obviously his teammate couldn't get to him is because he's a bit cooked. But he's quite a big bloke, Jaskula. He's done a great ride so far, but he's got. Let's looking now at the moment. He started this morning 4 minutes 45 seconds down, as we look at his teammate here, Vona, on his way down the mountain. This morning, Jaskula 4:45, Rominger 5:44. So in fact, he's 1 minute ahead of Rominger on general classification. So we're desperately trying to get back into that group on the descent. And here, Rondon, I think, is going to pick up with Vona. Vona's looking back to see him coming, and I think he'll just wait for this fellow to come up. He'll still keep riding, though. When I say wait, he'll take the pressure off the pedals a bit and wait for him to come up, because 2 men on the descent's better than 1. There we are. There's our camera taking picture of the other camera. It's taking a picture of this camera, and switch backwards and forwards, so we've got the opportunity of seeing these rides from front or back. And our other camera now is dropping back, you can see. I think he's going back to see where the main group are. There we are. We're over the top of that climb there and coming down here to Soldo. And when we hit the bottom of that one, there's that next climb yet ahead of them. Well, it's been a wearing down process today, and there's quite a number of riders up in front now that if anybody wants to do a bit of a jumping around as we hit the bottom of the climb and then start to go up at Soldo, we'll cover 39.5 kilometres of the race. And then when we get to the bottom of the hill and then start to go up, it'll be Canilo. That'll be 32.5 kilometres to go from the finish, or 31 and a bit. So not long before we start the next climb up. The second category climb, the Col d'Ordino. And these 3 riders who've taken every climb between them so far. Confirmation then of that climb. Unfortunately, Rancon, who could have done with 30 points, only got 22. So it will be useful for him. But looking at the overall classification, he's moved certainly into second place ahead of Indurain. Varank now into 5th spot there, 137 points. So Kierpucci's position on the King of the Mountains could be threatened by Varank. That's the man on the right-hand side there, who has held the polka dot jersey in the past in the Tour de France. He's quite a useful climber, and today he's proving just that. And I think there's a slender chance that these three could just about get up the next climb before the main field if there's not a real acceleration. We've got, perhaps Brian will sort it out for me, because when we hit the bottom, this is 37 kilometres to go, and the top of the next climb will be, see, 206, will be 25 kilometres to go. So there's still something in the order of, what's that, climb of 6.4 kilometres. What roughly have they been losing per minute, Brian, on kilometres? You've worked it out in the hours, but do we know what it's...
They should be caught up in about another 10 minutes. 10 minutes. If it continues at the same rate.
Well, that's the climb they've got ahead of them. Sorry about the picture, Brad. The climb they've got ahead of them is a 6.4 kilometre climb, and that would be taking them a thick end of about 12 to 15 minutes to climb up, depending on what state they're in. So, good. Well, confirmation then, all written down here of the points in the King of the Mountains, and they might just about make it over the top before they get clobbered. And then presumably everybody's having a little brinkmanship here to think that the maybe 30 or 40, maybe 50 rides might still be together when we hit the bottom of the final climb of the day, and the showdown will come in the last 10 kilometres. This is the longest mountain stage in the Tour de France, 9 climbs in all, 231.5 kilometres to be covered over these tremendous mountains here, where Phil then no opportunity then to admire the flora and the fauna and the chamois and the bearded vultures and golden eagles which inhabit this part of the world. And so they're just now trying to swoop down and catch up with those leaders, descending as ever around about 40 miles to 50 miles an hour. Nice, smooth, big sweeping bends.
There could be some surprises for us here, because Rincon showed in the Vuelta he's got surprising reserves when it comes to the last hill. And he was in something the same sort of situation in the Vuelta, and he accelerated again up the last climb of the day.
Well, he's certainly been showing so far he's been the better climber, although he didn't manage to pip them on that final one there. But for a young rider, Rincon at the moment then in that little leading group on this Pyrenees stage of the mountains. There was criticism last year about the Tour not going and spending really any decent time in the Pyrenees. Well, we've got 3 lots in the Pyrenees today, and this year, and the next one will be collecting will be the day after tomorrow, because we've got a rest day tomorrow. We'll be on air on Eurosport, bringing you the highlights of the stages so far for an hour. It's going to be between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock on the old box tomorrow night. But here we are. This chap looks still nice and comfortable. He's had, I won't say an easy ride today, because there's blokes behind him all over the place, but certainly it's not been the sort of hammering ride which has probably affected him. But those 2 climbs yet to come. Indurain now, his team thinning down a little bit, because undoubtedly that Jean-Francois Bernard rode himself into the ground on that first climb. And looking round about him now, you can see Rominger behind, still waiting, and just 1, 2, Gerard Roux still there, 3 of his teammates. Grospi, a very useful mountain climber in front, so he's now down to 3 of his teammates. So they really are thinning down a bit. That's what we can see at the front of the grid. There may be 1 or 2 more just a little bit further off the back, but certainly I think that Indurain not quite got the support he had before.
And the French young ladies' hearts can beat again. Pascal Lino has managed to add himself back onto the group of the good ones. So, my God, there's relief.
Yeah, I think so. Well, he's still, when you're at the back of that peloton, you've got to get yourself a little bit further towards the front, because when the gaps open up on the climb, unless you can work your way near there, the gaps open up and then you soon get dropped. Looking down here, all the star riders still in there. In fact, yes, he's still got Delgado, I think. 2:27, you're right, Brian. I think they might well be caught. Delgado is certainly also in that little group. I was saying that it looked like they'd thinned down the numbers of Benesto, but Delgado's doing the right thing. He's riding shotgun. He's just behind Indurain, and making sure that Indurain doesn't have any problems. Because if you're in the front, those 3 or 4 chaps hammering away at the front, and suddenly has a bit of a problem, then they may not know it. That's why they put one rider behind the yellow jersey and the rest of the team up in front of him. Well, their moment of glory could well be over then for these little riders here. Rancon, we're just looking at him there in the pink, very good rider indeed. You say, Brian, a stage victor in the Tour of Spain this year when he finished 4th overall. He finished 2nd in the Dauphiné Libéré, where he took a stage as well, and he won the Tour of Aragon, so he's having a very good season right now, this young rider, and I don't think hasn't shown a lot of strain so far in the mountains, so I think we could well say, right, if anybody else comes up to this little lot, he could well have the ability to bounce away. They've all been looking forward, these mountain climbers, towards days like this one. So the Colombian there, Rancon, with the Venezuelan rider, Sierra. And I seem to remember that Sierra doing quite well in the Kellogg's Pro Tour, and I think he took the King of the Mountains jersey there either briefly or challenged for it for a short while. I certainly remember him riding in the Kellogg's Pro Tour, Sierra, and doing quite well in the mountains anyway. So the flat part here not aiding these riders, because as far as they're concerned, they are mountain goats, and they really are looking for the road when it goes back up again, and a chance to keep that gap open and get some more points at the top of the climb. Sierra then just having a little chat. Quite useful performances so far this year. 2nd in the Tour of Campania, 2nd in the Tour of Tuscany, 3rd in the Trophy La Guelia. And he won a stage in the GP Pony Malta when he finished 3rd as well. 7th in the Tour of Italy in 91. He won a stage in the Tour of Italy in 1990 in 10th place. That's a fellow in yellow here riding for ZG Mobility. And 30. Now we're just about to start the climb. This is where it all starts to happen now.
And one thing we haven't seen a car go up to that group of 3. It's highly probable they don't know the speed that the peloton's coming at them.
Well, they've been looking for the old blackboard man as well, and on the descents they often keep the blackboard man out of the way because motorbikes to try and clear them out. So they nevertheless, I think, provided they get to the bottom of this climb and then can start it, there's a fair chance they will be able to look back and see what's happening with the crowd behind. But this is a flat part where the chase can really happen. But as it starts to go up, keep your fingers crossed. I thought Rincon had got himself in much too big a gear. I think he did too. He winds it up a bit round there, turn sharp right there. So we're on the climb. This one up to the top of the Col d'Ordino. The D'Ordino climb 1,910 metres above sea level. They've got 6.5 metres to go, an average incline of 6.4%.
And we've got some better information now, David. It's 2 minutes 15 to Vona and Rondon and 2:45 to the peloton. So they've still got a little gap, a little space to work in there.
So keep your fingers crossed then that they might just about hang on out in the front. 2:07 at the bottom of the climb. They're actually on it, so we'll see if they can hold it on their way up. So here we go. That's to our pursuers. They'll be turning right very shortly, just in the flatter part, the lower part of the mountains. Well, people from this part of the world are very hospitable indeed. And when we go up into the Andorra, it's a place where they speak lots of different languages, really, because it's one of those little places where people have come from all directions, from Spain and from France to live. The field now closing up on those 3 men in the front, 2 men wedged between them. Benesto, there you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 Benestos, and Indrain in the centre. Right, are we going to see? Yes, Rencon's away. He's bouncing away, and he's going quite early on this climb because it's 6 kilometres that they've got to go up, and he's starting to put the pressure on the 2. Sierra's suffering, and Varanca's got to respond. Well, this is really a courageous ride as far as the Colombian is concerned. He's blown the Venezuelan Sierra out of that one. So Sierra not in contention now, and Varanca is struggling, and he's really trying to get up to that man up in front, who's really put the pressure on and opened up quite a useful gap. But I'm not.
Took him a while to get in the right gear, but once he got in the right gear, he started to push it.
I think he had a bit of a shock when he came around the corner there, Brian, so he decided now to go away from this little lot. But well, Varanca, I think he's doing the right thing here. He's just steadily and very carefully closing up on him. He's not tried to rush it, but still I think the gap is opening up just a little teeny weeny bit, so Rincon might have done just the right thing, and there he is then.
I know that Javier Minguez, the director sportif of the Mayas, wanted a stage, and he's given his lads the word there, so I think he's going to go for it. Rincon's going to have a go.
Well, so with Rincon out in the front, and it's a very good move as far as he's concerned, I think, because when they snaffle the one or two riders up in front of them, they might just ease a little bit, and of course there's Colombian rider here. So a useful performance in the mountains, in the Vuelta, taking that stage victory as well. And he's got a long old way to go, but if they reel him in one at a time, they might be happy to think, well, that little lad out in front will have our own battle for the yellow jersey. And just look at that. It looks to me as if Jean-Francois Bernard's got back here. Yes, he has. So our early information that he'd been struggling, he's managed to get back. And you can see the tail end Charlies just begin to again lose contact with the fast rolling field at the front. There they are, just dropping off. Look, there they are, right down the back. And up the top we could see the early bit. Now who's coming up on the left-hand side? Looks like Cavriola with his elbows stuck out. He's got a very individualistic style. Another very good mountain climber indeed. And yet again, Bonesto doing just the right thing, just keeping the pace about right. The polka dot jersey of Rominger has come through to the front. Now they sent one of their men up in front. Now this is interesting. I wonder why they've done that, because Klaas have just shoved a little marker out in front, and so then as Javier Molen has gone just away from this one. Is it a move then? It's the attack we're waiting for. Will Rominger respond and come up to his teammate? That must have been a planned tactic. He's looking back now. There's no sense for him to go except for his teammate to come up to him. Spectator rushes out quickly and grabs a free hat that got thrown down then from Molan, and I'm looking to see if this is the time that the polka dot jersey is going to try and jump up to his teammate. You just see him down there, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the front. Maika is right on the wheel of Indurain, marking him. Now there's lots of little stepping stones for anybody who can ride up to them. Franco looking back down. Now then,
they're giving the gap as 2:30 to the peloton. I can't really believe that, because if he was at 2:45 and he accelerated, I think that Rincon is going away from them, it looks to me.
Well, they're certainly climbing quicker now though, Brian, and of course I suppose it depends whether they're time checking back to the main peloton or to this. See, there's so many people splintering across now that well, Varank, he's lost contact to this young rider here. But Festina beginning to put some more riders up into this one, because we're looking at Ramon Gonzalez Arrieta. And a marking job here for Antonio Martin. He won't attack Rincon up in the front. He'll just sit there, move up with this little group. And with Molen up in front here, Klaas have done an interesting move here. I can't quite work the tactics out though, unless his job is just to sweep up the leaders. But that's of no interest to Rominger. I can't think Rominger only wants to ride to win another stage, because in the polka dot jersey certainly he could do with collecting a few more points, and but he hasn't done anything at all at the moment. So here's Sierra getting back to Varank. Varank, who looked like he controlled his attempt to stay with Rincon and was just about getting his breath back.
Hades.
That's Kierpucci's dad. That's enough to frighten the living daylights out of you, isn't it?
My God, he nearly tripped over his tail and fell flat on his face.
Or speared himself on his trident. I don't know. Well, this makes some strange. He hasn't even batted an eyelid, this fellow Rincon. He probably thought that fellow lives there. Probably does. Perhaps he's just come out of a cave. Probably the local hermit. And Miguel Indurain, eh? Oh, I can't understand what that says, Brian.
Don't think I can either.
Oh, he's gone again. They'll tell him what to do with that trident, I can tell you. Well, there's some lunatics about, aren't there? They're not all locked up yet. So, Sierra now moving up to Varank. and doing it very steadily indeed. Nice smooth ride up. And a nice little three-man chasing group here. Neither of those two, though, the Festina rider nor the Maya rider, are going to do anything to aid the work of the classman. I'm still questioning the tactics as to why he's gone away. Well,
I think the Amayas are going for the stage today. I think they're trying to mark, as they did the other day, a really good stage.
Yes, I think that's down. But what I can't understand, Brian, is why class have sent Moreland up there, and he's riding at a fair rate of knots, unless, as you say, he wants to make sure that they don't get the stage in some way, because the group here with Indurain, 2 pink jerseys going on the front, so that means that the pressure's coming on from Onse. And Indurain then making it on his wheel. Whilst it's fun to know what's going on at the front, you see, only got Rouet with him now. Gerard Rouet is the only one that could stay at the moment with that little group. Gerard Rouet there, and Maika for Motorola just behind. Then we can see Romigo in the polka dot jersey on the right-hand side. Bunyo is still there, but he's well down on general classification now. Rouet's doing a marvellous job. He's going to bury himself, and they're going to pull this little lot back. Now then, let's see if Romigo tries to come up and launch attack as he did yesterday on the first climb of the day. Waiting, waiting, waiting. There they come. Constant speed at the moment still. Rouet doing just the same thing, just keeping the speed up. Going to pull him in. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 20. There's about 40 riders there maximum. I should think if Chiappucci sees him, he'll probably get, what do if he's not careful. They've got them. Now then. Class are still well represented in this little group. I can see another of Romigo's riders in there, because Tony Romigo rides for the class team, that also is a Spanish team. It's a team involved in the dairy business, and Sierra hasn't quite caught his way back up to Varonk yet. Not quite, getting ever so close, but not quite.
There's a distinct rate of acceleration with the peloton now. It looks as if they've started to get serious and to close up.
Well, yeah, it's interesting to see how many people drop off the back to, Brian, because they're losing quite a lot. And the Benestos now, they're down to, what, 1 here. I don't think that Delgado will be too far away. He's been climbing quite well. And here, Indurain, let's look at him, let's look at his face, because that's where it begins to show. He's always got the impassive look on himself. He actually stopped wearing his little white hat. You'll be able to see him with his white hat. He seems to stop wearing that now. And so the polka dot jersey still in the group. Chiappucci still in that group. They're rolling at a feral rate of knots. And Gerard Rouet did a marvellous job here. He's got to get his team leader over to the top of this one, because I'm sure when they get down the other side, there'll be a bit of regrouping on the drop down before they start the final climb. But Benesto now getting thin on the ground, but still no attack coming from any of the people. In fact, Maika's dropped back about 4 or 5 lengths off Indurain, and that's not so good. He's been sitting there quite comfortably until now, but the speed at which Rouet is driving this lot up here, it's meaning a lot of people aren't just hanging on to Indurain's wheel, except in desperation. The attacks can't really come at this speed. There's Chiappucci and Romigo. Well, I know that Chiappucci would like a stage victory. He's not got much to show for the tour so far. We've got that big final climb up to the top, so perhaps he's waiting until they get to the bottom of that one. That may be the total tactic of these riders, is to stay near the front, let Indurain's team drive themselves into the ground, chasing down all the breakaway groups to keep the thing in contention and keep it nice and compact, and then unleash themselves after that final climb of the day. It looks like that's written all over, because nobody hears. There, Roche is still in there, good. We're glad that Stevens made it. Chiappucci's up there as well. Still Gerard Rouet doing the work on the front. Bjorn Rees has still made it as well, and this is our leader going for another hatful of points at the top. This is only a second category climb, this one. 27 kilometres to go in the race.
We've just had a 55-second gap of Rincon from Sierra and Virenque. 55-second gap. It looks as if he's opened something serious up there.
It does, but this gap is, I think, closing down too now. And then looking through here to see, it's still a fairly good group of riders, and the little flurries have now subsided somewhat. But Buño's going to the front. And I wonder who's signalling there. Buño just put his hand off the handlebars and signaled something.
It's very hard today to fault the Banesto tactic.
Oh, brilliant.
Indurain has been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, they've let the ones go that don't matter, and he's hitting the ones who do matter. Very, very good.
Absolutely brilliant. But see, Buño's moved up now. Again, you see, he's having a pretty dismal tour, and we'll be looking, I think, for a stage victory to take home. He had a pretty dismal tour of Italy as well when he didn't do what he wanted. He wanted to get himself in the podium position. He's not in the podium position this time. That's the top three in the Tour de France either. So one or two riders with reputations who found themselves not capable, not able, because you can't hold your form year in, year out. You have good times, bad times. You have good days, bad days. There, Claudio Capucci also searching for something to show from the Tour this year. And Maika is the revelation. The man in the centre there from the Motorola team. Absolutely surprised a lot of people by his climbing ability this year. Didn't start racing until just before the Tour of Italy. He was without a sponsor, and in fact the latest rumours flying around is that the Motorola team that he rides for, Jivakovic, has got about 16 different nationalities in his team, and Postobon, who dropped out as sponsor, are talking now, or at least they're said to be talking about coming back in, and Jim might well be able to provide them with a team ready-made of various nationalities and some very good climbers in them as well. But that is all very much in the future. The rumours that fly around this time of the year, it's a bit like the transfer season approaches for the footballers, who's going where and who isn't going where. So the commissaires was saying something then to those two riders, and I don't think it was just a time check. There was some particular reason they wanted to talk to them. And this little group then, no more than about 40 riders, and one of the Ariel steers drifting up near the front. They're known to be pilots. They're always prepared to have a little go, and perhaps we might see one of those jumping around a bit at the moment. He moved quite nicely up to about 7th, 8th back from the front. Still there, in rain of the yellow too. So, well, so Jaskula then back up with this dribble, good one, that's good. And so there's over a minute back then from Rincon to the two men, and here the hammer is going down yet again and chasing after that breakaway. That's Escatin is going out now for Class. Well, they keep firing men off at the moment. Escatin here hammering across that gap. And I wonder, that's just one of those little flurries. Well, he's gone with Che Craviola, and I've been watching and waiting for this fellow. We saw him move up on the far side, a bit further back down the road. Class again putting some momentum into this one, but they're riding away from Rominger. And I find it's just a little bit on the strange side that they've gone that far up front, because I thought they'd have wanted to go with their team leader. I mean, the attempt before from the Class rider was only just where he went up there Moral, and he just sort of hung up there and then drifted back again after a while. Well, Caviolo's found the stepping stone useful, jumped up to him now on the front. Getting up toward the top of this one, he's going to get himself on the second category climb, 20 more points on the King of the Mountains. The time clock running. There we are then, 6 hours, 39 minutes. So he's now got himself another 20 points, which makes him 190. Frank trying to get that second place, which will give him 15 points in the King of the Mountains. He's just really desperately pressing around those pedals and pulling away from Sierra. Sierra bouncing back at him. These two have had an interesting battle all the way up the climb. Varank tried to get it with Rincon and failed. Sierra blown out, got back up to Varank. is Sierra going to nip past Virenque and just pick up those points? Because Virenque now 137 points at the bottom of the mountain. If he gets this one, he'll get himself 15 points, which will make him 140, 152 points. He would just be 1 point behind Claudio Chiappucci then on the fourth spot in the King of the Mountains overall. Virenque digging really deep. There's the banner. Is Sierra going to zoom past him? He's trying to come up on the inside, but Virenque accelerates. Virenque then takes second place.
1:15. Rincon has taken 1:15 out of it.
So then at 1:15, that's the gap that he's taken out of his two escapers then. And here we go with Cabriola coming up from behind. So Virenque getting some, what we get here, 15 points. So plus 15. Makes 2 there. That's 152 points then for Virenque, subject to the confirmation from the judges. Chiappucci should collect some points, but on a second category climb it only goes down to the top 10 places. So behind Virenque was Sierra. Rancon went over in first place, and now he's lying second on the King of the Mountains classification with 190 points. This is the class rider, Scarton, who's really hammering up here with Cabriola. They're going to be running over into 4th and 5th place. Well, we thought at one time that big group you see behind would probably catch the leaders, but Rancon is down the other side, or is rocketing down now on the descent into the valley before the final climb of the day, desperately looking for his stage victory. Ridden a superb race. So this is the ride over the top then, and in fact he's opened up a gap on this one. It was much less than that at the bottom, so Rancon has gone away and done a very good job here indeed. So that's it, 2:45 back then, and to Clavriola, and we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men over in the top places so far. 6, 7. In fact, Chiappucci looked to me, I'm not sure whether he was 6th or 7th, Chiappucci, but in any case then, he would have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He would have got either 6 or 4 points alongside Rominger. So in fact, he's just nudging ahead of Virenque. And Indurain at 154 points. So in fact, Chiappucci will have now gone over Indurain in the King of the Mountains competition into 3rd place. This is very closely jammed, packed together. We've still got one big mountain yet to come at the end of the day. So do stay with Eurosport's coverage Tour de France to see what finally happens into Andorre. Well, Rominger looking quite determined, but perhaps he hasn't got the stuffing in him at the moment. Still Nzaga digging deep down inside. Nzaga and Moran have been doing a wonderful job here as far as class are concerned. The Benestos have blown a bit of a gasket. Still Pedro Delgado is just a little bit back of this little group at the moment, but Indurain doing just the right thing. He's sitting on Rominger's wheel. These two battled for the 2 days in the Alps, and Rominger couldn't get rid of Indurain. They watched each other all the way through, and Indurain did just enough to stay with him. Robert Miller's beginning to move up on the left-hand side. Brunel is in there. Yaskul on the right-hand side. They're bouncing up and down on the pedals. Spectators in the way. The crazy people. Look at this. Robert Miller's really running into them. What on earth they think they're doing running out like that? There's a rider coming up. Miller's now going to get straight into that photographer. Just look at this. This stupid man running up here with a camera, and Robert Miller can't get through. I think this is appalling. This is disgusting. Somebody ought to take that man and throw him in jail. Sorry, I'm getting carried away here, but I think, my goodness,
That's quite right anyway.
Oh, dear me.
People who interfere with a sporting contest of world class like that, would they run on the track at the Olympics?
They ought to run on the track at Indianapolis or the Formula One and get run down, I should think. Well, there we are. Sorry, I get a bit heated about these things, but Robert was trying to move. Any other rider being just equally as heated, because Zilla, who is now struggling to stay with this one, the young up-and-coming riders at Verdun, somebody did exactly the same thing. A photographer stepped down in front of him, bang, down he went, and he lost 2.5 minutes on the stage that day. And not only that, he had the stuffing knocked out of him because the time trial was the next day, and really he just couldn't stand the pace in the time trial. He was so hurt, he had a bad night's sleep, he was all bashed around the knees, he really went over the top, and that stuffed his chances of the Tour de France. And that was a spectator who come out here. They come out to watch sport, and all they do is, some of them, is to cause confusion and destroy people's chances. Well, this group then still consistently strong at the moment. Rominger riding up alongside Indurain. Indurain showing this superb. In fact, Indurain's gone forward of Rominger, so it does show that Rominger hasn't got much left at all at the moment. Jaskula riding up with him as well. Jaskula in third place on general classification, 4:45 down. He's got to stay with Rominger, who's only 1 minute down behind him, so Jaskula's now going to keep his third podium place. And this rider here, then, the kilometre signs are coming down bit by bit. It took him 2 minutes and 34 seconds to ride up from the last kilometre to this particular one. And Indurain's putting the pressure on. Well, we're saying, why didn't anybody else attack him? And Indurain now is putting the pressure on. Chiesa coming up on the left-hand side, but he's no threat on general classification. I think he's just marking this one. And Indurain now is beginning to put the pressure on, and Rominger has responded. Kierpucci's starting to respond. So what he's going to do here, that Indurain's saying, right, I'll show you how to defend my yellow jersey. And he's riding off the front of this little dot. And as ever, you get the spectators doing stupid things. I hope they don't get in trouble with anybody falling on behind. Why run with somebody when you can stand on the side of the road and just wish him goodbye as he goes past? For all about 3 seconds, that man ran up alongside those riders, and it just doesn't, just astounds me. So Maika is just moved up. This lad also, well, they used to say a joke about a particular rider whose name I shall not mention, about him finishing the Tour de France without any suntan on his legs or arms because he always rode in Merckx's shadow. It was a sort of journalist joke. Well, this lad's well suntanned, the Colombian, but I don't think he's ever ridden in front of Indurain. So, oh, look at this. Delgado has come through to help his teammate, and he's helping him put the pressure on as well. That's superb work as well, because these riders from Venesto have really ridden themselves out for their team leader. They're still in there doing what they can, and Delgado, who I'd seen further back in the bunch, was just biding his time. And he's come up now to his team leader to psychologically tie him on up. Well, I think this is the day that, unless something terrible happens to Indurain, we can say Indurain has got his third Tour de France, because he's looking so remarkably cool and calm right now. The kilometres are ticking by. Any of these riders go past him at all, they'll only get a few seconds, not the minutes which separate this great man in yellow from the other riders in this race. Maika still on his wheel, just trundling up here. Rees, what a great ride he's had behind the Amaya rider, the Aristeer rider. Vona's still hanging on as well. Franco Vona, who I thought originally when Vona went it was a stepping stone for Jaskula, but Jaskula was really struggling to stay with this little group, and Jaskula is dropping back a little bit off the pace now. Kierpucci's still in there at the moment, but he's had a pretty hard tour. There's Rominger in the polka dot jersey. Well, so this group now some 2 minutes down on the lead up, so it looks like he can still get that that victory. Delgado riding hard. Well, it won't be long now before Rankon can see the finish here. The man with the ping-pong bats instructing the motorcycles to go further forward and get out of the way so this battle could go, and I think he wants our camera to move a little bit further forward as well.
Look at Perico going there, isn't that beautiful?
Yes, he came through from the back, he did just the right thing. So, just 2 kilometres to go. That's about 5 minutes this man is going to ride. He's been going up the kilometre boards just around about 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 40 as such. Look at this stupid chap with the flag riding straight in front of Rominger now. If that flag drops in his wheel, there'll be all sorts of trouble. I understand emotion, I understand people wanting to encourage people, but I do not understand how they can run in front of riders on the road like this. Look at Delgado really burying himself here. We're watching a battle here of the giants. The men on the road who want to get on with their job. They don't want spectators interfering. They want to get on with riding their bicycles. They're professional racing cyclists. This is how they earn their living in one of the toughest sports in the world. And Delgado here, previous winner of the Tour de France, just showing complete courage and dedication to the man now has taken over the mantle of team leader. I remember going into the Alpe d'Huez about 3 years ago when Delgado was under pressure, and Indurain rode himself out to the front for Delgado. Delgado is now repaying his Lieutenant Indurain by doing just what he can to get up to this one rider here, who must really be wondering what he's got to do to stay away. And at last Rominger's attacked. At last Rominger's attacked. At last, as he saw Vona coming, he saw Rondon coming back, he's attacked Well, what we've been waiting for is now happening in the final 3 kilometres of this stage. Rominger's going. Bjorn Ries is just around the back behind him. Maker's still sitting in there at the moment. Rominger's attack, but he's been answered by Indurain. Indurain just comes straight up to him. Maker's on his wheels still. Bjorn Ries is coming across. Still Rominger trying to go away, but Indurain's come up to him. And Maker has not moved a muscle. You'd think he's got a piece of elastic round the back axle of Indurain's bike and getting himself towed along on it, because at the moment, and Kierpucci's come up. Well, great ride by Bjorn Ries. He's a big, heavy rider, a bit like Indurain. These big, heavy men, they like consistent riding. They like to go up at a steady rate of knots. Well, he's responding. In fact, he's having a bit of difficulty. He's out the saddle. Rominger's looked back, and now they've caught Veronk. Veronk, again, who'd been away after the 48-kilometre point, has been reeled in with 2 kilometres to go. What a desperate day he had trying to get himself a place in the stage, and now he's got this lot burning up the tarmac, and here 1 kilometre to go. So there's 1 kilometre separating. I don't think he can be caught now. I don't think there's 1 kilometre between these two. That they're going to catch him unless he's dying, and he's slowing down all the time. The gap's coming back because it's going to be now less than 2 minutes, and the power Rominger is just sprinting up here. They're reeling in Vona. That's the next one to go. Well, there's only the stage leader in front of Rancon, and Rominger's looking back. There's 1 man in front of this little group here, still desperately trying to hang on to get his stage victory. The Amaya rider, the young Rancon, is still out there. And then this group here of riders battling now just for 2nd place. What a great performance then by Indurain as the pressure came on, and so now I think we know why he hasn't been attacked, why Rominger hasn't attacked him, because he sensed the great strength, the great cool calmness of Indurain, who again is showing his ability to ride a bike consistently day in, day out, day in, day out. And Rominger looking back to see, I think, just what damage they've done. In fact, he's sitting up and almost saying, well, that's it, I'm stuffed, I've done my job now. Indurain can look back and say, well, if that's all you can do, Sunshine, I've got this tour in my back pocket. There's no doubt about it now. Indurain has answered the attacks, and I think Rominger put his hand out there and suggested someone else should have a go. Well, it looks like this lot are going to sprint for 2nd place, because Indurain certainly won't bust a gut to go and catch the leader now. He's done just what he had to do. He's answered the men who are closest round about him on general classification. He's ridden with them all day, and then when that final little flurry came from Rominger, he answered it. He sat there, cool, calm and collected as ever. Well, Rancon looking back now, I'll say this man went away after some 48 kilometres being covered, so now he's been out here for, well,
he's got it.
Over, oh yes, he's certainly got it now, Brian. He's over 200, nearly 200 kilometres in the lead.
Minguez leading out of his window, giving him a big cheer.
Well, he's done a great ride here for the Maya team to get that stage victory. So across the line he goes, 7 hours and 20 minutes. The rest of the riders coming up behind him now are only going to sprint in for 2nd place, and well, Indurain tried to win the couple of stages now. Rominger got past him. Let's see if the two can sort the difference out now. As Claudio Kierpucci starts to move up looking for his 2nd place. He's not been tacking further down. He looks like he wants to go now, and he's off. Indurain's got something else to respond to. So many riders here trying to get back up to them. Dogger from Festina climbing up there as well in that little group, but even Kierpucci blew, so it didn't work as far as he's concerned. And now Rominger's going again. He went once, he's going again. Indurain digging deep down now, pushing his big frame to the limit. And Maker's just pedalling up behind him as well. So Indurain's come back at Rominger. Rominger's had a go. And Kierpucci tried, but didn't get anywhere. Then Bjorn Ries behind him. Jaskul is still there, so in fact all the top 5 riders. Kierpucci in 7th place. I don't know where Hampston's got to now, so in fact Kierpucci might be overtaking Hampston. Hampston this morning 10, 11, 12 down. In fact there's 3 minutes between Hampston and Kierpucci, and I don't know whether Hampston's lost that amount of time now, but certainly Indurain almost a ceremonial 400 metres, and it's Ries who has another go. Race goes, and then Rominger replies. Indurain goes at him as well. There, Jean-Marie Blanc has seen a great stage from that car. Races off, then Rominger's going after him. John Rees, Rominger sweeps round the outside. Indurain is going to happily come. He may lose just a few seconds here, but it's not the time gap that some of these riders like. Rees still onto Rominger's wheel, but Rominger takes second place. John Rees back in third, and then Yaskula fourth, fifth, Indurain sixth, Mayer. Kier Pucci was behind there. Well, Cristina tried in Andorra to get themselves a victory today. There's Veronk, so near yet so far. Delgado just coming in then. Bona got blasted. There, Stephen Roche, who had that puncture just at the wrong time. Robert Miller on his way in. Lost a lot of ground in those last 3 or 4 kilometres. So I'm not quite certain what that was, but Robert was looking good at one point, but coming on him. The shattered remnants of the ride. 2:32 Miller back. That just looking where he's on classification at the moment. He's 34th overall, Robert, 34.32, and I think that he's going to probably just improve himself a little bit. So Roberts, with a bit of luck, might find himself drifting up into the top 20, because we've got a lot of big climbs yet to come, and there's other riders that aren't in the groups that are coming in now. So Robert Miller, 34th this morning at 34 minutes 32 seconds down on Indurain, might find himself moving up into the top 20 on general classification.
And with all of those 9 climbs, David, it turned out to be 31.45 kilometres an hour average. 31.45.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's about 20, yeah, just under 20 miles an hour. And here, Bunyo bringing this lot in. Well, they were all together at the bottom of that climb. Just shows what their final 10 kilometres did. They got stuffed by something like about 2.5 minutes or so from the Indurain group. And so Bunyo coming in with Alcala. And yeah, certainly Robert Miller would have helped himself to a minute on all that little lot too. So that's not bad. He's a fair way down on some of the riders we've seen coming in there, but nevertheless, I think there'll be a shuffling of the pack after today. Bo Hamburger. There's Hampsten. Whoa, Hampsten just drifting in. And the other rider that was round about Miller was Bo Hamburger, as they call him, Big Mac. This looks to me like Hampsten coming in. And that's 4 minutes and 7, so he this morning was in 6th place. Kier Pucci was 3 minutes behind. I think, in fact, Kier Pucci would have leapfrogged over Hampsten now, and Brunel was also somewhere in that little group, so I think Hampsten might have lost 1, if not 2 places on the stage today. Chap in the white shirt down left-hand side, just walking up there, that's Daniel Mengas, the speaker of the Tour de France, and here we see Rancon coming in, a slow motion of that stage success. Very, very pleased indeed, I'm sure he is, with this one, because it's a great ride to be out there. He did just the right thing to leave his breakaway companions with about 30 kilometres to go. And that's a stage victory then for this young rider, crossing the line. 23 years of age, he leads the Young Jersey classification. He's won a stage as well. And so for Rancon, the joy of winning a stage in the Tour de France and a move up on the classification too in the King of the Mountains, that uncertain, because we haven't done those sums. We've been watching the battle behind. He came 1.5 minutes ahead of the Indurain group, but he will have got on that first category climb another 30 points, as well as we watched the sprint then for second place when Bjorn Rees hammered round. Indurain had been responding marvellously to all the attacks that came, and you can only sense how superb his ride was today when you saw the gaps that opened up on that group which came in. The 40 riders hit the bottom of this 10-kilometre hill together. That's about 6 miles, and in 6 miles, riders were losing 2 to 3 minutes on the climb, and they're good quality top-line riders as well. And Rominger tried today to have a go at Indurain, and it failed, but he got a second place just ahead of Rees in third. Behind him in fourth, Yaskula. 5th, Indurain. 6th, Meijer. 7th back. Oh, it flicked away and I missed that one. We have a top shot now to see how Rominger went away. After restarting the action, Rominger digging deep. Well, he's got a couple of stage victories to his credit. Now he's got a second place. Well, Rominger would have got some useful points then in the King of the Mountains, so he'll preserve that, but Rincon is certainly closing the gap up now, and he will be firmly in second place when they do the sums later on. It's something like about 220 points, I think he'll have in the bag at the moment, to Rominger's, what will be about 250 odd. So battle will recommence the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow we've got the rest day, and then we're back in action on the Wednesday. So for this young rider then from Colombia, Oliviero Rincon, just 23 years of age.
Rincon means corner in Spanish. I bet he wouldn't mind being in a corner with those two.
Well, what a successful season he's had so far. Stage victory in the Tour of Spain, stage victory in the Dauphiné-Libert, stage victory in the Tour of Aragon, and now a stage victory in the Tour de France. He finished 4th in the Tour of Spain this year, 2nd in the Dauphiné-Libert as well. So this young rider might be the renaissance of the Colombian cycling. Meik has been climbing well as well, so we thought for a moment that the Colombians, when they came across originally with the Café Colombia team and the Varta team, they began to lose a bit of impetus, but the older men, the Herreras and Palas of this world now have retired from the scene as far as European cycle racing is concerned. Now what about this man coming in? I hope they realise what a job he'd done. The lonely ride of Gerard Rui. If you've been watching our coverage of the race today, you'll have seen that man absolutely riding himself into the ground, and so Gerard having to roll in now. Nobody here even hardly sort of raises an eyebrow as he comes in. Just another rider off the back. Well, he's off the back because he rode himself absolutely out for his teammate. If anybody here had seen it on television, they'll certainly want to applauding him on the way up, because he did a great ride today. Absolutely shattered by his performance. Our congratulations go out to him, because he's helped keep Miguel Indurain in the yellow jersey. The cheers there are going on with the podium presentation. This is the man that he buried himself for. Gerard Rui and the Banesto team have helped to keep him in yellow. The team isn't everything though. You have to have the stamina, the strength and all the determination to keep yourself in contention. That's what this man did. Not only did he respond when Rominger attacked, he also went on the front and made life hard for him as well. This man is heading, certainly, barring accidents, for his 3rd successive victory in the Tour de France, and that comes after he won the Tour of Italy this year and the Tour of Italy last year. What a tremendous list of successes he's had, this man, right from being a junior amateur champion of Spain. Now in the yellow yet again, Miguel Indurain has taken the first mountain stage in his stride, and the rest of the riders now know they've got to ride for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th places and pick up the scraps from the Masters table. He's not going to give anything away, this man. Rode so well today, but undoubtedly he is a man that everybody says, that's it. Well, we brought you the first stage in the Pyrenees. We're having a break tomorrow, but we'll bring you some of the highlights of the programs which we've done so far. This little state of Andorre, just some 50,000 inhabitants. This was going to be the day when perhaps the gauntlet would be thrown down and this man's jersey would come under threat. But you can see there from the general classification that nothing's changed much. They're still way off the pace. A rest day tomorrow. The riders will be out gently training. They don't stop riding their bikes. They've just got to keep the legs going round, because restarting the next day, we've got some thumping great climbs as well, because on the next day's stage, Andorre to Saint-Lô-Roussillon, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big climbs. We're going over the 2,070 metre Puerta de la Bangueo. We're going over another lot of 4 climbs, including the famous Peresur at 1,569 metres. So tomorrow, a rest day. The day after that, then, can this man here attack the yellow jersey? Well, the King of the Mountains, I think, is what he's set his heart to get now. And Tony Rominger then takes that polka dot jersey. I thought, our hopes go out that Abdul Jafarov in the green jersey will survive the Tour today and be with us when we recommence broadcasting in a couple of days' time. Be with us then on the Eurosport Tour de France team. Time to say bye-bye.